All right, this is the video for section 5.5, which is your homework was 295, 2 to 22 even. I'm doing 1 to 21 odd. Excuse me. All right, so find the GCF of each of the list of monomials. So you've got 8 to the 8th, 8 to the 5th, and 8 to the 3rd. So you got to say, what do they all have in common? So what they all have in common is a to the 3rd. Okay. Number 3. So we've got x squared, y cubed, z cubed, y squared, z cubed, and x, y squared, z cubed. So let's go along and see what they all have in common. So let's look at just each variable in each monomial. So we have an x, but this one doesn't have an x, but this one does. So we know that it's not going to have any x's in it in our GCF. So we have y here, y here, y here, okay? And how many y's? This one has 3. This one has 2, and this one has 2. So our GCF is going to have a y squared in it. Okay, here we have z, 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 3 z's, 3 z's, 2 z's. So the most z's we have is 2. So our GCF is going to be y squared, z squared. All right, here we've got 6, 9, and 12. So what is the largest number that goes into 6 evenly, 9 evenly, and 12 evenly? And that is 3. 3 goes into 6, 3 goes into 9, and 3 goes into 12. All right, so we've got x, x, and x. Now how many? We've got 3 x's here, 2 x's here, and 2 x's here. So what's the highest number of x's? 2. And then y, y, and y. 1 y here, 2 y's here, and 1 y here. So the highest amount of y's is just 1. So our GCF is going to be 3x squared y. All right, so we've got 10, 20, and 45. The highest number that goes into all of those evenly is 5. And then we have x cubed, x squared, and x. So the largest amount of x's is just x to the first power. Then we've got here y. Here there's no y's, and here there's no y's, so y isn't going to be involved. Here we've got 3 z's, 5 z's, and 3 z's. So the largest amount of z's is going to be 3. So our GCF is 5x z cubed. Okay. Factor out the GCF in each polynomial. So in this case, you're going to factor it out instead of just writing it. So we're looking at each term and seeing what they have in common. So you've got 8x and negative 12. What do they have in common? Or I'm sorry, 18x. So first off, we're just looking at the numbers because there's only an x here, there is no x here. So what do 18 and negative 12 have in common? What is the largest number that goes into both of them evenly? And that number is 6. So you're going to divide out a 6 from 18, leaving me a 3 and an x behind. And then if you divide out a 6 from negative 12, you get negative 2. So it's 6 with 3x minus 2 left behind. Excuse me. Now here we've got 4y squared and negative 16x y cubed. So let's first just look at the coefficients, 4 and negative 16. What's the largest number that they have in common? 4. And now let's look at our variables. We've got y squared here and y cubed here. So we can take a y squared out. So if I divide out 4y squared, what am I left with here? What is 4y squared divided by 4y squared? It's just 1. And then what is 16xy cubed divided by 4y squared? So negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. And then you've got an x. And then what is y cubed divided by y squared? It's just y. Okay, so 6x to the 5th minus 8x to the 4th plus 2x cubed. So you're looking at 6, negative 8, and 2. What do they have in common? The largest number that they have in common is 2. And then you've got x to the 5th, x to the 4th, and x cubed. So the largest amount of x's I can pull out is 3. So you've got 6 divided by 2 is 3, and x to the 5th divided by x cubed. Remember, if you're dividing like bases, you subtract the exponents. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then you have negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And then x to the 4th divided by x to the 3rd, you subtract the exponents, so you just get x to the 1st, which is just x. And then you have 2x to the third divided by 2x to the third is just 1, so you just get plus 1. All right, now we've got 8a cubed b cubed minus 4a squared b squared plus 4ab plus 16ab squared. So you've got 8, negative 4, 8, negative 4, positive 4, and 16. What's the largest number that we can pull out of that? Is going to be 4. And let's see, let's look at the a's. We've got a cubed, so 3 a's here, 2 a's here, 1 a here, and 1 a here. So the largest amount of a's we can take out is just 1. Let's look at the b's. 3 b's, 2 b's, 1 b, 2 b's. So the largest amount of b's we can take out is just 1 as well. So let's break it down piece by piece. 8 divided by 4 is 2. A cubed divided by a is just a squared. Remember, you're just going to subtract the exponents. 3 minus 1 is 2. B cubed divided by b is just b squared. All right, now we've got negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. A squared divided by a is just a. Or you could say, there was 2 a's, I took 1 a, now I've got 1 left. There was 2 b's, I took 1 b, now there's 1 b left. Okay, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so plus 1. There was 1a, I took 1a, so there's none left. There was 1a, I took 1a, or there was 1b, I took 1b, so there's none left, so we just have a plus 1 there. And now we're doing 16 divided by 4 is 4, so plus 4. A divided by a is just 1. There was 1a, I took 1a, so now there's none left. There was 2 b's, I took 1b, so now there's just 1b left. Okay, so you've got 4ab times 2a squared b squared minus 1ab, or we could have just put minus ab, plus 1 plus 4b, and that's your answer. Okay, now here, they want us to factor out the GCF of each polynomial. Now, notice that they both have an x plus 3 in common. They're trying to lead us into when we're going to factor by grouping. So what they want us to do is they want us to factor out an x plus 3 because they both have an x plus 3 in common. So we're going to bring an x plus 3 out front, and then what do we have left after that? We have a 6, and we have a plus 5a. So your answer is x plus 3 times 6 plus 5a, and you're going to see how that's going to work later on when we do factoring by grouping. Okay, same thing here. What do they have in common? They have z plus 7 in common. So we're going to bring a z plus 7 out in front, and then what's left? You have a 2x plus, and remember there's a 1 out in front here. So you're going to write plus 1. So you have z plus 7 times 2x plus 1. And then last, what do they have in common? 2x plus 5 in common, or I'm sorry, x squared plus 5. Bring that out front, and what's left? You're left with 3x minus 2. Okay? And so that's your answer. And you're going to see how that comes into play when we start factoring by grouping.